Benue State, it's a state where a lot of things have been neglected. The government of the state have been, permit me to say, has been the worst governor that have ever been in that state. And the federal government to have also played lip service. I was privileged to work when the first attack, I think in 2018, because from 2015 they started being some attack and thereabout, and I was privileged to work in a network then that built the first camp, IDP camp, and I was privileged to also be the first person to allocate the IDPs, the internally displaced persons, to their rooms in the state. So when these issues started coming up on board and these issues were referred to the federal government, they were not interested to do it, maybe because of ethnic affiliations. They didn't respond to it. This kept happening, people kept dying. Meitala came out openly and owned up that they actually carried out this killing. Nobody was arrested till date. And in situations or places where the community on their own try to defend themselves, the military will prevent them from doing that. This has happened in Benue, this has happened in Nasarawa. My neighbor, that the father was a chief in Nasarawa, was also killed. When they try to also mobilize themselves to fight against these people, the military will prevent you from fighting them. When they are attacking you, the military will stay and watch. When they want to fight back, they will prevent you from doing that. And all those persons with bands, yams and all that, they will just pack it and go and sell to raise revenue for themselves. And currently in Benue State, people are still in IDP camps till date. And Benue State is one of those states that will have refugees from Cameroon. And will still have IDPs in different local governments of the state till date. And then recently again, there have been attacks. You know, before they won the second attack of 46, they already attacked the first day, killed about 3 persons or thereabouts.
During the burial.
Before the second day, 46 persons were killed. The question is, in that area that these killings was happening, where was the police?
Well, according to the statements, one police officer died. Does that not give the impression that perhaps policemen were there?
Perhaps they were around, and it's as they were killings were happening to other persons, unfortunately, it also happened to him. It's possible. But if this is happening, killing is going on, I think it should have been more like a state of emergency, right? And since this happened, that very day in the morning, let me say the security advisor to the governor went there to see the plight of the people. I'm not sure. The PRO or the commissioner of police went there to see the plight of the people in that area. I'm not sure. These are the issues. So you see that people at the helm of affairs are not committed to protecting the rights of citizens. That is why we keep emphasizing the need for community policing. Before this issue of police being expanded to almost all zones and all communities, there were some of these initiatives that helped chiefs then to work and protect their people. So community, at the level of community, every family, one person, come together at the level, protect, come together and support. When people come from outside, the police, most times, let's not forget, that the police now we have, it's about just 300,000, right? Policing about 200 million citizens. And most of these persons, at least like 30 persons have been assigned to about the 409 House of Assembly, House of Reps, House of Senate, President, governors. When you reduce this much of police officers assigned to these persons, how many are remaining? They have those that have been assigned to musicians now, right? Yes. You have those being assigned to other persons, so-called retired people and all that. So they are very meager. You may go to a particular place, you only have a police post with 2 people, 3 people coming. And then when a multitude of thugs or criminal headsmen attack in their 30s on a bike with their AK-47, 2 persons will come out and fight.
And what about the step Samuel Orton took, that is lifting the anti-open grazing law, so that people, or for herdsmen who had their cattle and they were claiming that they did not know that there was a ban on open grazing there, that perhaps they moving might actually solve the problem of insecurity in the area. Do you think that might be effective?
I don't go with that. They in the country there are certain agendas that most times they are not brought to the open, but there have been series of agendas constantly, also concerning also where in the Benue states where these issues keep happening, and the anti-grazing, open grazing bill, it's actually the step in the right direction and should stay. Before now, for someone that have stayed in that state for quite a number of years, and many states, there's something called like Urban Development Association or something, where if you allow your cattle to roam around unguided instead of keeping them somewhere, these cattle can be arrested. They come and pack them, take it to their office, you go and pay some amount of money, and if you have allowed your cattle to go and spoil anybody's crops or all that, you will pay before you be allowed to even get your cattle. This was happening as long as I remember. This 20 years or how many years back, it was happening in the States. It had nothing to do with herdsmen coming from wherever. This is what was happening to even people that are directly from the States. So all of a sudden, people came from other states for grazing, right? And then you go into somebody's farm. Don't forget that most of these farmers borrowed money to start this farm. You enter into their farm, and then there are lots of grasses. You know, it's Middle Belt has it's a good land with grass grow all seasons, right? So it's normal to find places where people don't farm for your cattle to graze. It's normal. But when you deliberately carry your cattle, enter into somebody's farm to eat your crops, it's not. It's intentional, with an idea behind. That is why it's so easy that such person will enter into your farm and tell the person, move your cattle outside, and instead they will attack you with machetes to kill you. And they killed some persons that way. Some, they raped their wives. It was a pre-planned attack. It was not something of occasionally. From there, when other people come to drive them out, they will go and mobilize in mass and bring AK-47. It's a plan. It's not as if it's just happened by mistake. And the police officers, the military, which routes and roads do they follow? And with these guns, they don't see it? What stopped them from arresting them? Why do you stop normal people walking or people driving and try to check whether they have guns, or go to people's house, particularly in Southeast, and arrest people that they have guns or even then guns in their houses? But you see people walking with AK-47 really loaded. You cannot arrest them, but you go into people's houses checking to see flags, and you arrest them and kill them. You know, this is just insane happening in the country. So for me, I feel the federal government has a hand in this. That is why it has constantly remained, because same thing that happened in Benue happened in Nasarawa. It is happened in Taraba early last year. A lot of persons were killed, and a lot of persons were driven. A particular tribe, Thief tribe, more of. Military was there. They did nothing, and people were killed and slaughtered. So it means they have been there, and it's more like an agenda, trying to just allowing it to work. But most time I fault the state governments. Other states have tried to. I remember one time Kwara state governor empowered vigilante for them to do their work. Whether the police fail to do their work, vigilante, anybody that fails to do the right thing, deal with the person. And Southeast, I think we have Amotekun now trying to address some of these concerns, right?
Southeast.
Southwest now. Okay. Southwest now have like Amotekun trying to. So it's also an encouragement that North Central, you also need to do this to protect your people and protect your citizens. And the military should do their work. People cannot stay in their homes and then people will come and murder them, and then you're waiting for people to come and report to you that go and arrest these people. These people are on the street working normal.
But how do you feel this would the implementation of this would be possible, since the federal government is not recognizing state police?
It will still be possible as long as it's legislation. A lot of things have been wrong in the country, from decision making, from appointments, be it people into leadership of security agencies and all that. And you know very well that most of the military police are federal agencies and give directive from the federal to them on what to do. But when constantly this is happening, your people are dying, it gets to a point where at least at the level of states, the states can make bylaws that work. You work with your House of Assembly and make laws, and then you work towards keeping them. We have a lot of laws that are being made at the level of state, be it the DSVRT. We have the Administration of Criminal Justice Law that works in different states. Yes, we don't have the state police now, but we have little, or should I say paramilitary, or other small agents like the vigilante I'm talking about. They work at the level of states. We have, so at the level of the states, they may not go into another person's state and to go and work, but at least at the level of the state, let them work there and secure at least the state and work, because the police, the personnel of the police or the Nigerian personnel is grossly inadequate to carry out the whole work of the police alone on their own. And since the government is not willing to also allocate funds that will be able to address recruitment and provision of the kits and all the equipments they need, if the state government can support with having states having a little policing personnel in a particular state that helps in addressing some of these concerns, then it's a welcome development. Because even before we have the police, there were community policing where people, normal people, came together to secure their places. It has been there even before we had the formal police, Nigerian police force.